everyone, this is David at Finish Line Factory, and I'm here today with Audi of North Miami, and I'm going to be driving the Audi RS5. This car has a 450 horsepower, 2.9 liter twin turbo V6 attached to an 8-speed automatic gearbox from ZF, and that lets it go from 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds, but I've heard it might be a little bit faster than that. Start with a brief overview of the interior and exterior of the car, and then I'll take it for a brief drive around Miami. The new RS5 is new for 2018. It's been available in Europe since 2016, so this is one of the first ones to be coming to America. So new for 2018 is this grille. They've kind of gone with more of a hexagon shape, and if you look closely, there's smaller hexagons in the same shape inside of the grille. It's called a honeycomb grille. Also new are these diamond cut wheels. Very distinct shape to it, as well as what appears to be almost look like two-piece rotors, but I think they're actually single-piece. A little difficult to look, a little difficult to see, but if you look very closely, you also kind of see a separation between the rotor hat and the rotor surface. It also looks like there's 6-piston brakes in the front. This color, by the way, is called Nardo Gray, if you're not familiar with it. So, got looks like 2-piston brakes in the rear. Audi also has these cool new taillights, which realistically you have to be inside or at night to see them. But let me see, I have the key here, which is right here. And perhaps if I hit unlock, you can see the lights. There you go. So in Europe, the blinker light is actually just this line here. However, for US and North America, I believe there are regulations regarding how much of the taillight must illuminate when your blinker is on. So they added this section here, which is really part of the portion of the brake light. And they added it so that when the line reaches the end of its travel, it also blinks with this portion too. All right, so coming inside the car. It's got a leather wrapped door panel with Alcantara insert, as well as a carbon fiber trim here. And it's got the same pattern you saw in the grille is repeated in the quilting on this leather, which is very nice. I think this is like Napa leather, as well as the RS badge embossed into the leather on the driver's seat. So coming in, you've got, looks like your fog lights, headlight control. Looks like this might be the brightness control for the Audi virtual cockpit. And that looks like, oh, that's your brightness control. So who knows what this does, let me see. It doesn't do anything, I don't know. Here's your blinker, as well as, what is this, looks like the parking sensor. No, that looks like possibly the blind spot monitor. Shift up and shift down for the paddles on the automatic gearbox. And here it's got different controls. This controls the virtual display, so you can change the view. You can have like a map view. Perhaps you could activate nav like this. Let me see. What's interesting is that some Audis, like the Audi R8 and Audi TT, only have the virtual cockpit, but this one also has a side display as well. So you can have your radio, and it's more traditional display, radio, maps and stuff, and then you can have this dedicated to perhaps your maps or just the tachometer. So over here you got a USB port, 12-volt outlet. Here are your AC controls. Let's see, radio presets, quick jumps for the navigation, for the radio. And here you've got the controls for the radio, so you can browse through the different channels. If you have media, you can have your phone or your USB stick connected with different songs or music you want to play. You can also have these buttons on the side for just changing through different menus. So left and right wings, so you might be able to change your map settings, radio settings, so on and so forth. It's really innovative and intuitive system. It might be a little confusing at first, but once you figure it out, it's fairly easy. This is also not a touchscreen, as you can see here. Like, Audi prefers it that they don't use any touchscreens at all in their system. They prefer using the dial because then you get you have to keep it constantly clean. It's collecting fingerprints and so forth and so such. And plus, you have to take your hand off the wheel or your eyes off the road in order to use the screen. So being able to have it right here at your fingertips is a much better setup. Over here's the shift lever. You got park is a button here you have to press. Then you have neutral, reverse, drive, and sport. And over here is the audio control as well as a skip left and right for the audio system. Over here is the parking brake. For the center console, actually it's not a sealed center console, it's all one piece right here. So when you close this is still open, it's still accessible. That's unique. An extra USB port and the aux jack. And coming back here, you've got, looks like the CD, that's where you put the CD drive and the SD cards. Perhaps those would be for your music or your navigation. And it looks like there's ample space for the owner's manual and all that stuff. It also has a, oh look, it's got a Bang & Olufsen sound system, so I'm sure it sounds amazing. Back here, a whole lot. You actually have decent legroom. And despite being that it has a fastback style, looks like you might have a decent headroom too, which is pretty good for fitting my Fro. It's definitely a 4-seater. Can't really put much there as far as seating is concerned. So you also have rear vents for the climate control. So let's go ahead and give it a start. And I think this should sound pretty good. Let's we need to give that a rev. Oh, that's actually quite quiet. Let me see if there's a sport mode. Let's see. Oh, drive select. There it is. So when you hit that, it's just select from different settings. So you might have dynamic, which is more sporty, comfort, which is nice and quiet, or automatic. So I guess automatic changes the drive mode setting automatically based on how you're driving. So if I put that in dynamic, I can already hear the exhaust opening up and becoming a little louder. Oh, good. Gives it some. You hear the crackles in the back. Oh, and it has a power and torque readout, so you can see how much power the car is making. Oh, interesting. All right, so let's take it for a spin. So the ride is pretty comfortable. It's maybe a little bit stiffer than like an A5 or something.
Okay.
But you know, it's a more sporty sedan, and more sporty coupe, and you know that's kind of expected. But it isn't so stiff like my car. Not the Mustang, but I have a 240SX as well.
Okay.
And that car's got coilovers on it. It's racing suspension, so it's super stiff over everything.
Oh, okay.
That car beats you up. And the shifts are really quick. This a lot of people are using the ZF gearbox.
Okay.
BMW, Audi, Porsche. It's a very popular gearbox, and it's very smooth. Shifts very quickly.
Okay.
And when you put your foot down, it really digs into the pavement and gets the car moving. Let's see here. I guess in dynamic mode, the steering is very light. Put it into, well, in automatic it's very light, which is probably comfort right now. So in dynamic makes the steering heavier, and the exhaust automatically gets louder. It's got a start-stop, but I haven't felt it stop at all. Oh, the brakes get sharper too.
Yeah.
Oh, right away. As soon as you put into dynamic mode, the character of the car really changes.
Oh, yeah.
The shifts become more aggressive. Instead of in comfort mode, the shifts are seamless. You don't even feel them. But in dynamic mode, which is really sport mode, it's a bit of it's a harsher shift. I guess for a more sporty feeling. That gets down.
Oh yeah.
Let me see. Oh, and it actually downshifts all the way to. Let me see. It'll actually downshift the red line for you.
Wow. Okay.
All right. is a fun car.
It is, yeah.
You put your foot down, it just launches you forward. Put it back to the drive mode. Yeah, you know, it feels like, it almost feels like you're driving the R8. You know, with just how much torque is applied to the car. And there's no drama with you got Quattro, so there's no drama, there's no wheel spin. You just rock it forward, especially with the 8-speed. So it's always like in the top part of the power band.
Okay.
That's what I like about Audis. They're always packing like so much technology and so much new stuff into the cars that I guess for some people that aren't, you know, very technologically apt, it might be a little confusing. It's an intuitive system. Once you play around with it and figure it out, it's very intuitive. But you know, I'm also an engineer, so you know, it's easy for me to figure things out. Oh wow!
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. So you hit the parking system button, and it will actually, you can actually look at. Oh, it's even got a 3D view. Or at least top-down view. You can actually view the cameras that are in the car individually. So if you're wondering if you're gonna hit a parking stone as you're parking, or whatever it might be, if you want to look at your corners, you absolutely can.
That's awesome.
There you go. You gotta drive this thing. Okay, so it actually has a stop and go adaptive cruise control system.
Okay.
Alright guys, that's the 2018 Audi RS5. So check it out sometime. I'm going to include links in the description to the dealership's website as well as their phone number. If you want to come by, check it out, take it for a drive. So I'm going to be heading over to Prestige Imports pretty soon for their caffeine and exotics and lattes, cars and there's so many different names for cars and coffee events, but I'm going to be heading over to their event. They're actually just down the street, so join me tomorrow for that video, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya. Oh, and be sure to subscribe, hit like, and leave a comment if you have a suggestion or anything you'd like to say. Thanks. Bye.